Hi and welcome. Thanks again for being here today with the Frequency Shifters community. Today's class is a Reiki meditation, our Reiki journey to help you remove negative energy. And so this is a really cool practice that I personally love that helps you focus on a specific block or issue. And we kind of hone in and use some descriptive words and descriptive visualization to assign color and shape and different things to the block. And then we move through a really beautiful meditation, which includes a long silence afterwards where you're kind of on your own journey to release it and let it go. So just a couple of things before we get started. It's through this deep meditative practice and Reiki that we can really nurture this inner relationship with all that is good within us and the desire to let go of what doesn't serve us and draw in more of what does. So this experience is really effective, as I said, in removing negative energy, which really just means any stressor or tension. It might be physical, it might be mental or emotional or a combination of those things. And so it's choosing to work with the body, with the physical body and the chakras and the energetic body to release and let go of any blocks we choose. So the most important thing before we get started is that whatever block or issue you choose to focus on today, you have to actually be willing to let it go. And I know it can seem like a silly thing to say, oh, well, what do you mean I wouldn't be willing to let it go? But sometimes we have things that we're still holding on to for a reason. There may be too much there to let it pass. So it's good to use something that you're fully ready to step beyond and leave behind you. Again, whether that's a physical tension or body ache or even fatigue or tiredness in some way, or an emotional issue or something mentally that's happening. It can be anything of your choosing, but we're just going to pick one thing for today. So then the next step, as I said, we'll create this physical identity, which will bring it into our awareness and allow us to focus on it and then release it. So I'd like to ask that you just grab a notebook, journal, have some kind of piece of paper handy if possible, because afterwards I'm going to have you do a little bit of just quick reflection on it, or you can always do that later, but it's best if you can do it right after. So if you have something that's not too far away, or if you're watching the replay, hit pause, go grab something, and come back. And then when you're ready, you can start to really settle in and make yourself comfortable. You can either do this lying down or sitting up. So neither is right or wrong, just depending on where you are and how deeply you want to relax. If it's the end of your day and you want to settle in a little bit more deeply into a relaxed state, I do recommend lying down, but you'll still get the same effect seated as well. So go ahead and now close your eyes wherever you are. We're going to take a few deep breaths in through the nose, let the lungs and belly expand, and then exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. Take a couple more of those on your own. Really feeling like you're starting to empty from the bottom of the lungs and the pit of your belly. The breath should then start to naturally slow into a comfortable rhythm and pace. Continuing to breathe slowly and deeply and keeping the eyes closed. Now I want you to go ahead and choose just one specific issue or block that you want to let go of. So this may be, a fear or a worry you're facing in life, an area of illness or physical pain in the body, healing a relationship, anything else that comes to mind to you. Whatever's coming through the strongest. So try to settle on just one thing if there's multiple. And I'll give you just a moment here. Now really focus and almost meditate on that issue without getting too caught up in it emotionally, but just focusing in on it and considering if the cause of this issue, the original cause of this issue, or the way the issue is feeling, was to be located somewhere in your physical body, where would it be? You might feel a twinge of pain or discomfort somewhere when you think of this problem. And if you happen to have any trouble choosing an area, try to just take a few deep breaths. Remember, there's no wrong answers here. And you might just choose something. Choose an area that you may have regular issues with if something doesn't come to mind clear. So now once you've chosen your area of the body that would represent this problem or issue physically, now imagine that you're looking at that physical area you've chosen. And consider if this issue had a shape, what shape would it have? I'm going to continue to ask these kinds of questions. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. You may have something for everything I ask. You may not. Your experience is your experience. Don't worry about any of that. Just allow whatever comes up to come up. So beyond the shape, what color does the shape have? Is it dark? Is it light? A specific color? A blend of colors? Does it have a texture? Does it have a weight? Heaviness, lightness, something in between? Does it have a temperature? What about a sound? Excellent. So now that you have this clear image of this block, where it is, what it looks like, it's time to let it go. So tune back into the body and into your breath. Try to invite a sense of comfort or relaxation wherever you are. Breathing long, slow breaths. And remember, if at any point, if now or at any point through the rest of our practice, if tension arises or any kind of discomfort, we can always use the breath as a form of release. Like those open mouth exhales we did at the beginning, they're a great way to release any extra heaviness or extra tension that's arising. So use them as your friend, and then returning always afterwards to breathing in the nose and out the nose, long and slow. So now we'll go ahead and begin the Reiki meditation experience. I'll help you first get into the receptive state of mind using a short script, and then I'll stop talking. I'll ring a little chime, allowing the Reiki energy to do its work and allow you to be in your silent journey for a few minutes, about 10 minutes, and then I'll bring you back. So imagine in your mind, it's a beautiful day. It's warm and sunny. You're walking down a path in a beautiful, lush forest. As you breathe into yourself, you breathe in the life energy of the forest. And with each step you take, you can feel the energy of the earth as it flows up through the bottoms of your feet. As you walk along, you notice there's another pathway going off to the right. You feel compelled to follow this path. You continue to walk along, and you come to a clearing in the forest. In the middle of the clearing is a small hill covered with tall grasses. As you climb up the hill, you can feel the grasses rubbing against your legs. You can feel the forest air around you, the sun on your face. When you get to the top of the hill, imagine yourself lying down in the tall grass. Feeling the grass and earth beneath you, supporting your body as you gaze up into the sky. As you gaze up into the sky, you see beautiful white clouds. And as you look at the clouds, a beautiful beam of light begins to shine down. You realize this is no ordinary light, but the light of pure positive energy, Reiki, divine love, everything that is good and healing in this universe. This light shines all around you, flows into you and through you, filling you with warmth and feelings of safety and love. Now the light begins to focus on the shape you imagined to represent your issue. Focus on the shape and be willing to let it go. Now gaze directly into the light. As you do so, the light begins to guide you. Follow the light, continuing from here on your journey on your own for the next few minutes. You can continue here on your own with your experience if you decide you're called to do so. And then whenever you're ready to come back to the room and re-enter your day, you can take a few deep breaths in through the nose, letting the lungs and belly expand fully. Exhaling to let the belly button draw back towards the spine, letting the muscles and body relax. Bring your hands up over your eyes and cover your eyes for a moment with your hands. Taking a few more moments to bathe in the darkness, in the silence. And then taking your fingers to the center of the forehead, the space between the brows, and then rubbing the fingers in gentle circles, moving up the forehead to the hairline, and then down along the sides of the forehead until you get to the temples. Pausing there for a little extra time on the temples. It should feel like a really nice release there. And then all the way down along the jawline. Slowly moving the fingers in gentle circles. Might even feel good to massage the neck a little bit. Slowly starting to bring the room back into your awareness. Opening your eyes whenever it feels like the right time to you. And welcome back. I hope you had a good meditation and Reiki session and enjoyed that practice. Hopefully you're feeling a little lighter, a little more free and clear in both mind and body. As always, I would love to hear, I know folks usually have to run off, but I'd love to hear if anyone has comments or wants to share how they're feeling. And most importantly, make sure you remember to do the journaling exercise. So take some notes about the shape, the size, the texture, the color, all those things that you assigned your block, and then also how you felt through the experience, after the experience, whatever it was, whether you just felt relaxed or whether something, came up in the mind, if you had a lot of active thoughts. Sometimes people have visual experiences. You might see storylines or colors or different things like that. So just take a few notes. It doesn't have to be long, but just to kind of mark down what you experienced today. And this can be a really good process for us as we go inward. We work with who we are. We want to go deeper into the layers of the self and continue to grow and thrive. This process really helps us. It helps us as we especially look back. The more we do it, the more journals we do, the more writing we might have. We can look back and kind of, one, pick out where the patterns are that may be problems. That way we can actually do something about it to uproot it, solve it, get it out of the life. We might also see things that are our passions or that we want to move towards, things that are our hopes and dreams. And again, then it gives us control as we notice those patterns. We can start to actually do something about it as we notice them. And it can also be a really good way over time to look back and measure your growth and see, oh, I was feeling this then, but look how far I've come now. And it can create a really beautiful kind of celebratory of the self process. At least I really like that and have really experienced that. And so my clients seem to feel the same. So hopefully it works for you as well. And as always, I'm here if you have any further questions on this practice or anything else. The resource library continues to build. So I hope you've checked out some of the classes in there and can use them, when we're not in class together live. All right. Oh, I say thank you. I see you feel a lot lighter and more clear. But some of it was difficult. That's okay. Sometimes it is a little bit difficult, especially to stay present with something for a long time when we're in that gap, when we have that, 10 minutes of complete silence. I'm sure that might have been where you were feeling the most difficulty. Oh, someone else said they have a difficulty with the assigning some of the shape things. Yeah, you know, that can be tough too, especially if you don't do a lot of visualization, coming up with the color, the texture. And that's why I say, you know, if nothing comes to mind, it's okay. Just give yourself the space to create as many of those, as many defining characteristics as possible, because then it gives the mind kind of a focus point. And you know, this is a practice. I didn't develop this practice. It's been used for thousands of years, you know, and in a lot of different, what's the word I'm looking for? Trains of thought, or you know, not just in Reiki, but other meditative practices as well as shamanism use a lot of this type of visualization to define and assign characteristics to something, or to really physically see the negative, which can be difficult for us to bring ourselves to the space that we can visualize something that might be hurting us or harming us. But there's a very cathartic process in this, and when we can look at it, accept it, that's what leads, acknowledge it for what it is. That's when we get to the part that we can actually release it and start to let it go. And it may not all happen in the same time, but especially the more we give ourselves the space in our lives for these types of practices, the stronger and stronger those things become. So if you struggle at all with visualization, definitely don't give up. It's something that we kind of build in those areas of our mind. And if you have like a really analytical job, or you know, you're someone that maybe is really feels separate from a sense of play or creativity or your childlike self, that's when it gets even more difficult sometimes to visualize, because we've shut off those parts of ourselves, and it's really part of the brain. So it's something that you just have to practice like anything else. We practice visualizing. It doesn't mean that that quality or ability is gone. It just means you might have to reawaken it a little bit through things like this. So whatever you experienced today, know that it was the right one for you. And yeah, I hope you can take something good from it. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone for showing up today and taking this time for you. Let's just wrap up with that quick thank you, bringing your hands. I always like to invite you to bring your hands actually over the heart center, closing your eyes and telling yourself thank you for all that you are, for all that you do, and for showing up here today to do something good for your mind and body. And a big thank you from me. Much love. Love and appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you back in class very soon. Have a great rest of your day.